This is Jazmine with Listen to Your Single Friend. We're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the lonely. Hi friends, welcome back. Ooh, we made it, y'all. Oh my gosh. So first of all, some of y'all went in about last week's episode. Like, I'm gonna address a little bit of that later, but thanks for those of y'all who actually did ended up listening to the episode. Derek definitely dropped some gems during the main segment. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm always going to bring someone on who is going to, give you guys something that you can walk away with that's meaningful. I think people got thrown off by the whole men are the prize comment. But once he explained himself, I actually, and most of you did end up agreeing with what he said after that. But listen to the damn episode, okay? Y'all was just going crazy over that damn teaser trailer, and hopefully y'all have listened to it by now. But yeah, definitely was some gems dropped on that episode. I also really, really want to thank you guys so much for joining the live show on Instagram Live. I had a blast. So I want to give a quick shout out to my show producers, Mr. Big and Mr. Lil, my bartender Perry, my Liddy chef Kendall, my set designer Chrissy, live show producer Leah, and thank you to everyone who played the games, asked questions, or just kind of showed up and showed out in the comments. Y'all were cutting the fuck up. Like, I hate that Instagram doesn't let you see the comments for the replay. If you didn't catch the live show, it is on it's on the Instagram page. Under the live section or whatever. It's on IGTV. So it's still up there for you guys. But yeah, I hate that you can't see the comments because the comments had me rolling. But I'm also kind of glad you can't see the comments after the replay because y'all was just cutting the fuck up. So it was a good time. It really was a blast. And I'm just so happy to have done that. I say we do it again in a couple months just for fun. Valentine's Day just passed. I had a great Valentine's Day. I actually watched Crazy Rich Asians for the first time, and I cried my little eyes out. That movie was so good. And then I got cute after that, and I had a friend date, and that was awesome. So my Valentine's Day was really good. I hope you guys got to spread love or felt the love or just had a normal day, whatever that looks like for you. This week, I am talking about a lot of stuff. I don't really know what I'm going to name this episode yet. But basically just about self-worth. I think that's what the focus of today's episode is going to be about self-worth. And not letting people tell you what your value is. So let's keep the conversation going. Instagram and Facebook is Listen to Your Single Friend. Twitter is Your Single FRND. Make sure to tune into our accounts on Fridays for Screenshot Friday. Also, Listen to Your Single Friend is a book, so make sure to sign up for the book mailing list. Also, sign up for the blog post to get information on release dates, pre-orders, etc. Go to the website, ListenToYourSingleFriend.com. I am uploading these episodes to YouTube. I just found out I need at least 1,000 subscribers to even start getting paid for ads. And I only got 20 right now, and I might be rounding up, but Rome wasn't built in a day, so I'm still gonna ask y'all. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, even if you listen on another platform. I'm going to play the clip from last week's trivia. I recognize that I actually teed the question up incorrectly last week. I started off and said 6 million Americans get married on Valentine's Day, making it the most popular day to get making it the blank most popular day to get engaged. But obviously the question was about engagement, not marriage. Nobody said anything, but I noticed. And I'm about to play the clip. So here we go. All right, the answer is Valentine's Day is actually the 5th most likely day to get engaged. So the ones in front of it were, I believe, Christmas Eve, New Year's, Thanksgiving. Pretty much every holiday that happens in the fall or in the deep winter were the days that beat out Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day is actually the 5th most popular day to get engaged, with 6 million people getting engaged that day, which is nuts. But yeah. It's time for our quote of the day. I am always going to start you guys off on some positive vibes. So the quote of the day is, you deserve love. You deserve respect. You deserve to have your needs met. Honor yourself by refusing to settle for anything less. Guys, that's almost goes without saying. Like, that is literally going to be the theme of today's episode. You deserve everything. You deserve to have your needs met. You deserve love. You deserve respect. The biggest thing about that is just not settling and not letting people kind of get you, or influence you to settle because either you're worried about being single or, I don't know. Some people just, as we'll talk about in this episode, some people try to convince you to just lower your standards just a little bit to make themselves feel better. We're not doing that. You deserve it all. Honor yourself. Don't settle. Period. Now it's time for Goes and Goofies. Starting you guys off with Goes this week. This is such a freaking sweet story. Oh my gosh. I actually was on the verge of tears when I read this. So Christine Bonavita decided that she wanted to give away her wedding rings following a divorce. So she puts up a Facebook post and just said, hey, does anybody want to, I guess, take her wedding rings or whatever after the divorce? And so I guess at first the people response was like kind of negative. So she was like, not really like sure she wanted to do the giveaway. After about 6 weeks, she had thousands of entries and they came in from all around the country and even other countries and languages that she didn't even recognize. And she said it was difficult to narrow it down, but she ended up picking a couple from Ontario, Canada, Melissa McCann and Jordan Orr. And I'm going to read you a snippet. And she just said she knew as soon as she read it that this was going to be the couple. Melissa and Jordan met in high school. They're both in their early 20s. So they had realized when they were younger that they actually went to the same children's hospital. He was born with cystic fibrosis and incurable lung disease. She was diagnosed at 12 with I'm going to mispronounce this, ulcerative colitis. I heard of it before. The short term is UC, but it's an autoimmune disease that affects the large intestine. So she said, he was the first person I knew that could relate to my medical struggles. I could bond with him over missing family, good nurses, bad nurses, medical procedures. He had no idea how much he meant to me. They didn't even start dating until almost a decade later when he ended up messaging her on Instagram. And, she said they both grew up and went through their own mental health struggles with depression, anxiety, alcoholism. They both identify as pansexual. And when they reconnected, it was almost as if no time had passed and they started dating and fell in love. With COVID, that brought them even closer. With his lung condition, that meant that contracting COVID would be basically fatal for him. And his parents were actually essential workers who had to go into work. So he ended up moving in with Melissa. And basically things have been great for them. He never left since he moved in during COVID. So they cooked, they danced, they watched Marvel movies together in their onesies, which I love because, as y'all have probably figured out by now, I'm a huge Marvel fan. Jordan proposed on Christmas Eve, and unfortunately, this it just makes me so emotional. Soon afterwards, the doctor told him he only has 10 years left to live. So, they basically said that they would like to use the money saved from not having to buy rings and just put it towards their short time together. So she ended up giving them the ring. She gave them, I'm getting emotional because it was just so sweet. And it makes me so sad that, they found love. And unfortunately, they both have these medical conditions and, he's not going to be able to live for very long, but they just want to appreciate the time that they do have together. And I just think that's beautiful. Don't roast me for crying. I just thought this was such a cute story. But she video chatted with them and kind of tricked them. So she told them that they were finalists, but she really just wanted to see their reaction. And, she was like, I felt like I was proposing to them. This is Christine. She said, I felt like I was proposing to them. And she said, will you accept my ring? rings, and they did. And it's just the sweetest thing. And I guess people have been reaching out to her just in general, because they just love the effort that she put into this. And they've been donating all kinds of other stuff: wedding rings, dresses, shoes, jewelry, all kind of stuff. I love what she said at the end. She said, "It all started with me saying, I'm going to turn my grief into something constructive. For other people to join, that's amazing. It makes me happy." So she does have an email address for people who want to, send in additional items. It's sharinghopeisdope@gmail.com. So shout out to Christine for giving this young couple, some hope. And shout out to them for just deciding, hey, we're still gonna do this. I just thought that this was absolutely beautiful and a wonderful story, and that just made me feel really happy inside. So that is your goals for the week. It's time for Goofies. I got something to talk about. So there is this Twitter thread that is making its rounds. I am going to read you guys what happened, and then we're going to go on with it. So this girl talks about how she was in a clubhouse room for singles. A man talked about himself. She liked what he said, so she slid in his DMs. She gave him a cute little intro, and a little bit of conversation ensues. At some point, he asked her, "What are you currently looking for romantically?" She says, "I want a forever partner. I want a fairy tale love story mixed with enough realism to get through life's challenges. I want to be offered actual romance for once in my life instead of a situationship. I want to be with the man who is filled with integrity. When I heard you say that you are someone who can be intense and passionate, honestly, my ears perked all the way up because I feel like those words absolutely describe me as well. Like, I'm tired of feeling like I'm too much for people, and I want someone I can be 170% comfortable with." He says, "That's awesome. If you don't have a map, you don't know where you're headed. So I personally separated my desires in a woman to initial items versus personality/character. If I shared you with my initial items, would you let me know if you don't identify, or would you let me know what you don't identify with?" She said yes. I'm gonna let y'all know right now, conversation would have ended there, but that's not what happened. So she points out in a Twitter thread, "I didn't mention anything physical or financial with him. I have my preferences, but I don't prioritize that." So I thought that was important that she said that. Here is the list that he sent her, because oh boy, did he send a list. Number 1, needs to be 23 to 30, never married, no kids, willing to have more than one kid, and only after marriage. 2, bachelor degree, a business professional or stable business owner with a career backup, and 60K plus income. 3, Christian and open to beliefs of spiritualism, meditation, and manifestation. 4, takes pride in appearance, natural look, fit, single-digit pant size, and has a polished demeanor. For example, looks like could possibly be a news reporter. Is there anything you don't identify with on this list? She proceeds to explain that she's okay with this list, but 2 and 4, she's not entirely there yet. Number 2 was the bachelor, or number 2, she was referring to the income. She says she's not quite at 60 yet, but basically that won't be a problem because she's working on some certifications. She says she's also working on number 4, getting back in shape. She says she's been fit before. And she knows that she can get back in shape easily. However, I'm naturally bottom heavy, so I doubt I can get back lower than a size 10 in pants. I'm not gonna lie. Mans proceeds to go on and says, I appreciate your openness to communicate. You're going to make some lucky guy happy as fuck one day. However, I'm looking for something a little bit different. Your look is very appealing. I wish you nothing but the best. So she was frustrated because she's like, he didn't even try to get to know me. And she also mentions about the pant size that she's very tall. And he said he only dated tall women, and wanting a single digit pant size for a woman that's tall and a black woman and over 25 was kind of realistic. At the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. So let me just put it to you guys like this. I'm giving them both goofies, and I'm going to start with her. For starters, when he asked her what she was looking for, this whole paragraph soliloquy shit that she did, no. Because my thing is, dating is fun and it's light. This is Instagram, so she found him on Clubhouse, but as you know, Clubhouse, you can click on people's Instagram. So this whole conversation took place via DMs or whatever. My whole issue with this is, it's on Instagram. Y'all are not texting. Y'all are not on the phone. Y'all are not out on a date. No need to go into this big long shebang about what you're looking for. All this, I'm looking for a fairy tale. I'm looking for this. It sounded to me in that initial message that she had this slot open for love. And as soon as she heard him, he fit that slot. And so she pounced. I am not against women shooting their shot. And I want to be clear about that. When the thread first started, I was like, oh, okay, look at this girl shooting her shot, because I like that. And I think that, there's nothing wrong with positioning yourself in front of a guy. I'm the type, I'm just going to respond to an Insta story. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be, I'm interested, whatever she did or whatever. But I was here for the fact that she shot her shot. When he asked her about what she was looking for, and she goes on this big long, and you said this, and I think that it was just too much too soon. Even before she talked about how he fit that, I just feel like that whole paragraph about looking for her fairy tale, you're doing too much, sis. You're doing too much. Don't put your heart on your sleeve. You're doing too much. Just say, hey, I'm looking to get to know someone and make connections. She could have that's honestly what I tell men all the time. And it's true. I'm looking for something serious. I want to get married. I want a serious partner. But in the immediate future, I'm looking to make a connection. and that's the truth. So you don't have to get into this long. It came out to me a little bit desperate. And yeah, just don't do that. Then he sends this fucking list, and I'm gonna get on his side in a minute. But when he sent that list, that would have been it for me. I have had a man send me a list before. And in that conversation, the man teed it up basically like, oh, my friend said that I'm single because I'm so, picky. And I was like, well, there's nothing wrong with being picky, like everybody has things that they want. Yeah, but my friends just think I do too much. And I'm like, oh, what is it? You know what I mean? Like what makes you so picky? It can be anything. And he sent me a list, and it was just like, I was so off put by the list. But see, I knew it didn't make me, it made me feel weird. I'm going to explain what this situation is a little bit in a second. But I knew it made me feel uncomfortable. I honestly can't tell you how the conversation ended, but I'm sure it ended somewhat similarly. I do specifically remember he had a height requirement. And I do remember the guy was 6 foot something. And he said he has a height requirement. The woman has to be at least 5'4". And so I said, oh, I'm 5'2". So, guess this is not going to work. So the conversation went something like that or whatever. But it basically didn't go anywhere. And that was my first experience with negging. Negging is negging. And I need y'all to know about this, and I need y'all to understand what this is and how to spot it. Because that is what these men are doing when they send these lists. This man is goofy as fuck. And it pisses me off that people are justifying what he did. Well, at least he was honest. First of all, this is not how you date. Okay, if Jazmine, got on a dating app, I got 20 men in my hinge matches right now, If I got on Hinge and I started conversations with these men and I gave them a list of what their income needed to be, what their educational background needs to be like, how tall they need to be, how big their dicks need to be. If I went through all these and sent men these lists, y'all would say I am fucking crazy. And that why would I think that that's okay? But a man does it and it's like, oh, this is revolutionary. Only broke men and only lazy men and only misogynistic men think that this shit is revolutionary because it's cheapening the dating experience. If dating was as simple as sending a motherfucking checklist, don't you think that people would be doing that by now? That's not the playing field that we're dealing with. And we're not going to normalize this. That's why I need women to recognize that this is negging. And I didn't explain what negging means. So negging is when a guy basically usually negging is like a backhanded compliment. Like I give you the example, oh, I like your nails. They're fake, aren't they? Like something like that. Like or like Regina George did this in Mean Girl. She was like, "You're really pretty," and homegirl goes, "Thanks," and she was like, "So you agree? You think you're really pretty?" And it's like, wait, what? So negging is an old pickup artist move that men use when they see a really attractive woman or just any woman and they want to even the dating playing field. Basically saying, you cute, but you ain't all that. Something to that effect. It is a classic pickup artist move. And I know this because, like, I like to study games that men play, and it's happened to me before. And so I study this because I want to understand it. And so basically, and this pickup artist, literally, when you Google negging and look up the examples, I found an example or a story from this pickup artist saying the first goal of negging is to get a jab at the girl's self-esteem. And then the second is just to share some sort of displeasure that you have with her. So at that point, she's basically trying to prove herself. This list thing is trying to change the dating platform, but it's also set up for this woman to fail. It's this entire listing is set up for any woman to fail. What he's doing is he's changing the dating environment so that, quote unquote, men are the prize. So all the women that are out there like, well, at least he was honest. Well, she just didn't measure up. It is not. Do not message me. Do not text me. Do not fucking call me after this episode. Like, well, aren't men entitled to have their preferences? This is not about his preferences. It's not about that at all. I repeat, this is not about his preferences. He can say whatever the fuck he wants. But the fact that you have exchanged two, maybe, messages with a woman who's expressed interest in you and basically said, these are my qualifications. Do you match up? Who the fuck are you? And he's not, I've seen his photos. He's not all of that, y'all, at all. At all. But it's like, who the fuck are you? This whole men are the prize thing, and he admits he follows Kevin the scammer. He actually, so long story short, when she tweeted this, several women reached out and sent screenshots and basically confirmed that he sends this message to women all the time, because apparently on Clubhouse, before she even connected with him, he did kind of say that these were things that he was looking for. And people are like, oh, well, she shouldn't have reached out anyway. No. He has also done this to women that he's matched with on dating apps. Again, the whole purpose of this is to change the playing field of dating so that now you're trying to measure up. And I remember when a guy did that to me, I literally was going through the list like, okay, I'm that. Ooh, I'm not 5'4". Okay, like I don't measure up. And it's like, I don't like a man making me feel or trying to humble me or trying to make me feel less than. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't like the way that the conversation was going. I have no problem with people having preferences, but sending me a list of qualifications, like, I understood what she was saying, because it's like, you could have met me and realize, them little 2-inch difference, that don't matter. You know what I mean? Like, and all this stuff is so fucking arbitrary, and it's just not even that serious. Like, no. I'm not gonna say that someone's preferences aren't that big of a deal. I'm not gonna say that. So I'll take that back. But these are preferences. Okay? Standard is, I want a man who is financially stable. A preference is, I want a millionaire. There's a difference, okay? So sending someone a list of preferences, things that are negotiable if the tide is right, I think that's bullshit in general, man or woman. Don't do this. But again, back to the dating, this is just not how you date. And men are vested in this because now they're realizing, oh, if I can just get a woman to say yes or no, I don't have to take women on dates. These are questions that he could have easily got answered if he just had a conversation with this girl. Like, literally just had to pick up the phone or even, Instagram message her just a little bit more. But we're going to cheapen the dating experience to the point where it's like, I'm just qualifying you based on these things. They're not even standards, they're preferences. Like, but if he wants to do that, that's on him. But what you're not going to do is normalize sending a list and then making it see. I don't know. It's just fuckery. And he admits that one of the girls in the screenshot, after he turned her down, because again, a lot of this is set up for women to fail. You know what I mean? So I don't remember what he turned this particular girl down for, but he turned one of the girls down, and he said, well, wait, really quick. Have you heard of Kevin Samuels? Like, what? Like, what are you doing? Why do you care? He cares because he follows that scrub. And that is this whole men are the prize and y'all need to stay in your place and y'all need to be humble and y'all can't be asking for stuff. But this dude that looks like a fucking thumb can send a fucking laundry list of bullshit. Absolutely not. And then there were women who commented and said, I met everything on that list, but I didn't like that he sent me that list. And so again, it's not about the preferences. I promise you, do not text me about the preferences thing. It's not about the fact that he has these preferences. You are allowed to ask for, and I'm about to talk about this in this episode. You are allowed to ask for whatever the fuck you want to ask for. But what you're not going to do is cheapen the dating experience like this and literally set people up for failure. You can just talk to the girl. It's just talk to her just to get this information. But also, this is a form of negging. Like these type of men, all of at this point, I'm about to start asking men on the first date, do you follow Kevin Samuels or not? Because that tells me all I need to know. But that's the last time I'm going to say his name because I very clear don't like him. I have had to post a PSA. Don't send me his fucking videos. I don't want to hear what he got to say. Don't care who he's talking to. I don't vibrate on that low level of energy. I'm not entertained by people coming to someone for advice and being ripped to shreds. So I'm going to leave it at that with, oh boy. But this particular dude, it's just like, I just don't understand, he almost gets off on turning women down. Like, I'm going to have these lists of standards, and if you don't meet them, I'm going to turn you down. I'm going to have these lists of preferences, and if you don't meet them, I'm going to turn you down. But it's almost like he gets off on it, and it's like, this is just classic pickup artist shit, okay? And I need y'all. I might do an episode or do a post on Instagram about common ways that men do negging, but like, y'all have to peep game so y'all can see it coming from a mile away. The second he said, well, I break these down into different lists, and can you tell me if you meet, are you asking me, can I fucking measure up to, child, cannot do. After 2 messages. And the crazy thing is, they got on Clubhouse, a panel full of men, and said he did nothing wrong. He was honest. It's not about honesty. It's about the fact that this whole thing is bullshit. Y'all are lazy. Y'all don't want to date. Y'all don't want to talk on the phone. Y'all don't want to just fucking get to know people. He can have these very same preferences and eliminate her from a potential date. without sending a fucking questionnaire. Because I almost want to run an experiment. I almost want to run an experiment because y'all are such fucking hypocrites. Because I know good and goddamn well, if a woman had sent a man this list and reacted that way, y'all would have dragged her for filth. Dragged. It's not about the preferences. Don't diminish people to list of qualifications. This is not a fucking job application. Like, oh God. I'm gonna leave it at that, guys. But I'm not here for this. I'm not here for the people defending this. It's not about the preferences. Stop with the baby ass bullshit. Y'all know good and goddamn well ain't nobody saying that this man can't have preferences. This whole thing that he did, this whole thing is just cheapening the dating experience, and we're not going to normalize this. Ladies, if a man sends you a list, tell him to have a good fucking day. Because just like homegirl, she said, I met all this shit on this list. And I still didn't want to talk to him. Why? Because this is low vibrational energy. Have a conversation. Like, this is what dating is. You have a conversation. You engage people. I would love to get on the phone or even get connected with a guy on an app and just be able to say, do you have a big dick or no? Can you support me financially or no? Do you have a car? Do you have a home? Like, I would love to be able to get on a dating app and just go man by man and send them a fucking questionnaire. You know how easy dating would be for me? For women in general, if we started sending out questionnaires. Don't justify this bullshit. Please and thank you. That's your goofies of the week. Both of them for multiple reasons. It's time for our main segment. Yeah, I'm just frustrated this week. Like, I got the smoke because there's just so much nonsense and bullshit on the internet right now. And it's just like, it's right after the day of love. And I just keep seeing messages and narratives that just seem hell-bent on putting women in their place or trying to humble women in their dating lives or whatever. And I'm here to be the first to say, fuck that. Ladies, keep your foot on their necks. Like, I just want to give some encouragement this week. I want to explain a few things, but I also want to give some encouragement because I am over the mess and I know y'all are too. So my mom and sister recommended this movie to me called Love by the 10th Date. And I watched it the day after Valentine's Day and it was so good. It's a Black cast and that made me really happy. And it was not low budget at all. That was the first thing I asked. And it was the first thing my friend asked me when I recommended it to her. It's a Lifetime movie, if that helps. So they definitely got a little bit of a budget. But it's definitely not as cringe as some of those Black movies on Netflix. But I digress. This is a good movie, I'm telling y'all. Megan Good is the lead, and Kelly Rowland's in the movie, so is Carrie Hilson, and a couple people that you'll recognize. So Megan Good is the lead, and they work for a magazine. One of the editors put out an article that basically said most women think of the first few dates as an audition, and if they're lucky, the man will cast them as girlfriend and hopefully wife. Whereas it takes men 10 dates to realize if they want to get serious or be invested. Basically, women need to just live in the moment, put on what she called an emotional condom to prevent infatuation, and just have fun. And that'll help her get to date 10, where basically at that point, most men realize, oh, okay, this is something I want to do or not. I thought the concept of this movie was pretty fucking awesome. Like, I definitely think women should live in the moment while dating and just stop trying to make fetch happen after 2 dates. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to confirm or deny the overall like 10 date theory with men, but I thought it made a great movie concept. So I was invested from the beginning. So Megan Good's character sets out to do or to get to the 10th date. She said that she's never done it before, and she sets out to get to the 10th date. And of course, shenanigans ensue. So at one point, she keeps striking out in her love life, and she just loses it. Kelly Rowland's character goes on this great speech about how Megan Good's character needs to get it together.
Received 3 rejection letters, so probably have a nervous breakdown.
Oh, rejections from art galleries.
Girl, you just gotta keep trying. I can't even get to 10. It's not climbing Mount Everest. It's getting a guy to say that I would hang out with her 10 times. And I always thought that I was cute enough or funny enough or something enough that I would be with someone by now. I guess I'm not.
You are. And you know it. Look, the truth is, no one knows why love picks some people and not others. I mean, you could be celibate. You could go on 10 dates. You could
Have an open marriage.
But until love picks you, you might as well sit back and enjoy the ride because nothing you do is going to make a bit of difference. And the whole emotional condom thing, oh my God, it's not so that you don't fall so fast. It's so that you don't move so fast that you forget how amazing you are while you're on the ride. In the meantime, paint and send out more letters as a you to the ones that came back no.
I've just been launching pebbles at the castle for so long. I'm just tired.
Stop launching pebbles then. Put all your heart and your work into one big rock and launch that at the castle. Then, honey, they have to pay attention.
Every woman has been to this point, questioning her worth and who she is because she's not like seeing love show up in her life in a meaningful way. I was so frustrated with Megan's character because I was like, fuck if he wants to see you 10 times. Do you want to see him 10 times? Like, she lost her power, her mojo, her moxie. You know what I mean? Like, she just wanted someone to care, and we have all been there. I have said this before. Like, damn, I can't even get a dude to text me back. You know, like, we be hitting some low moments, okay? We hit these low moments. It is what it is. But then when you kind of get a grip, it's like, who cares if the men who are texting me back, who cares about these men who are texting me back if they aren't even a good match for me or meeting my needs? I'm going to take a little bit of a different angle than I did with the first episode. In episode 1, Settling is Self-Care, John went and hooked up with a guy just to scratch an itch, which is fine. I'm here for it. I support it. I just fucking did it. But I love Kelly's speech because her advice was to choose yourself and then get your ass back out there. You know, it doesn't matter if you play it super cool or get all crazy like Megan's character did at one point. None of that matters. Just enjoy the ride, girl. And it's not just these made up rules like the 10th date theory. Like, every magazine is all 10 ways to get a boyfriend or like 100 ways to get him to commit to you or whatever. Like, women are constantly being told what to do, how to act. And honestly, like Kelly's character said, none of that shit matters. If he wants you, he wants you. You can attend all the therapy in the world, be the most popular Instagram baddie that there is, have all the degrees, do whatever. But what is for you, and it will not miss you. This is just why I encourage y'all to talk to people in relationships. Ask them how they met their partners. I keep telling y'all, do not take my word for this stuff. Talk to people in real life. I am constantly having conversations and engaging with people about different stuff because I want to know the truth. I want to know how it is for real people in real life. Half of them will tell you they weren't even looking when they found their partner. And that's not to say that they weren't doing work on themselves. We all should be working on ourselves, but not to get a partner, just to be better people. You know? It took some women 15 prayers. It took some 500 prayers. Some manifested their love. You know, some women didn't even know what manifestation was. You can listen to all the gurus, all the YouTubes. You can listen to this podcast all goddamn day, all the magazines, all that shit, and still come up short. I don't like the fact that people basically keep telling singles, work on yourself. One day it'll come. They love to slap, but one day it'll come. Just stop looking for it. Like, we need to reach this perfect place of self-actualization. And I'm here to call bullshit. Like, stop slapping these band-aids on it. There is no recipe. Like Kelly's character said, what's going to happen is going to happen, and it don't matter if you do all this work or not. Like, it just is what it is. So for me, that's the fun part. This is what I want to encourage you guys. The fun part is, hey, we're here, we're single, we're lit. This is the life journey that I'm on. You know what I mean? You could be bumming it at work and you can meet your partner. You could be at the gas station, at the strip club, in your Uber, walking down the street. And I say all these things because all of these are real stories that I have heard from women. And that don't even include the virtual world. We be seeing people sliding in folks' DMs on Instagram, connecting in the Facebook groups, all on the dating apps. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many chances to find love. And I don't know about y'all, but the unknown excites me. It's so easy to get frustrated, and just be like, it doesn't matter what I do. Like I said, you can do all the things and still come up short. It's so easy to get frustrated. Don't sit your energy in that. Get excited about the unknown. If you know and you're confident that love is going to find you, if that's what you're manifesting, change your attitude about it. And it's just enjoy the ride. Enjoy being single. I know I personally want a Target cute meat story. Like, I just want to be in Target buying up the whole goddamn store like I'm always doing and meet my boo. That is what I see for myself. I love Target, and I also love a man that shops at Target because that's my place. But I am just open to love in all arenas. We can only control what we can control, which is our energy and our positive mindset, and I'm just always putting happiness and openness and positive vibes out there when it comes to my dating life. So I just think that is just really important to note. And just having some sense of self-worth. Like, at the end of Kelly's speech, she talked about, don't forget how amazing you are while you're on the ride. There are times where we get down about being single, and I get it. It's why I started this platform. But I started this platform because I wanted to show you guys, yes, we get sad sometimes. Yes, we, like I said, the good, the bad, and the lonely. But we're on this ride and we're doing it together. And, just because we don't have partners doesn't mean we're not lit people. The absence of love when you're trying to find it, it definitely knocks at your self-esteem and your feelings of self-worth sometimes. So it's just important to be mindful of how you feel about yourself, you know what I mean? And making sure that you're keeping positive and you're putting that good energy out there. Like, some things will definitely position you to be in a better position to find love and to find partnership. But if it doesn't, don't get frustrated and don't tap out. But it's okay to get frustrated, but the biggest thing is just don't tap out and don't question who you are. So I'm not going to say don't get frustrated. You can get frustrated. That's what I'm here for. That's what this platform is for. It's completely okay to be frustrated. Like, damn, I've been doing all this fucking work and I still ain't seen any fruits of my labor. You know what I mean? It's okay to get frustrated, but don't tap out and don't question who you are and whether you are worth what you were worth, because you don't see that. Beyond just us questioning ourselves because we're not seeing love show up the way we want, and because we're feeling frustrated about the dating process, we also need to be mindful of third parties, the men we're encountering or dating, that make us mismanage our self-worth. Don't do it to yourself, but don't let other people do it to you either. And we need to be prepared for this because it happens in tricky ways. Just like I mentioned in Goofies with this whole, how do you measure up? You know what I mean? It's one thing for us not to feel worthy within ourselves, but it's a whole nother thing when it's an outside source. Like, so many things keep us from believing we're worthy of love. And I just want y'all to be able to tackle all the bullshit that's being thrown our way right now, but honestly, always. Like, people are always trying to tell us what we need to be doing. There is this rampant narrative trying to humble women, and I am fucking tired. Just mustering up the courage to keep trying to date, like trying to have a positive attitude, trying to be nice to these men, being open to dating and love. It's hard as is when you keep being slapped down time and time again. Like, Tyrese voice, what more do you want from me? And then you got men and sometimes other women telling you asking for too much, or you doing too much, or your standards are too high when you aren't even seeing the bare fucking minimum. Again, I'm here to say fuck that. A video went viral of B. Simone. And she is, well, I don't know, what do we consider her? She's an influencer. She got her start as a comedian on Instagram, then was on like Wildin' Out. Then she got into a shit ton of trouble because she released a book where she basically plagiarized the whole fucking book. She posted a video basically saying, stop asking for this, stop asking for that if you don't have it. And again, I'm here to say, fuck that. First of all, I do not inherently disagree with what she's saying. I think the way that she said it could have been a little bit more tactful, and I also feel like the way she said it came off a little bit disparaging, but that's her and that's her platform. What I take issue with is this overhaul message keeps on getting repeated to women, specifically about, again, what we need to be doing and how we need to be handling ourselves and all this and all that. These men be walking around looking like a fucking thumb, talking about they want a 10 for a wife and don't even have $10 in their savings. Come the fuck on. Like, why are we always telling women what they need to be doing? Who gets to tell a woman what she desires? The answer is nobody. Hello. It does feel targeted. In the dating arena, for those who are not single, you probably do not see this. But those of us who are seeking out, dating gurus and advice and all this stuff, we're tired of hearing this shit. We're tired of hearing how we're always doing something wrong. I'm not here to demonize B. Simone, but there is this borderline pick me behavior. Like, even in last week's episode about what men want, like, we're tired of hearing this shit. We're tired of hearing how we're always doing something wrong. I'm not here to demonize B. Simone, but there is this borderline pick me behavior. Like, even in last week's episode about what men want, I started off saying, do not be going out of your way to change because of these men. And equally yoked don't even look like what we think it does. He makes 100K, you make 100K, cool. Or you may have 60K and have investments or have no student loan debt or no credit card debt. So asking for 100K man may be damn near the equivalent if he does have debt and expenses. This is why I need to stop telling people what they have the right to be asking for. You don't know their fucking lives. And then it's like, I also tell women to be wary of men who are trying to humble you. And I'll get to that in a second. But women too. Like, some women just feel like they need to scratch and they need to claw just to get the bare minimum from men. Or they feel like, some sort of struggle has to happen while dating, and that's normal. Or they just don't understand that love and dating just doesn't have to be hard. Or sadly, some women do know that there's no need to struggle and, go through unnecessary hardships or, have to do all of this and that to be considered worthy. Some women do know that you are worthy as is and that your requests and partnerships are valid and they are reasonable. But since she had to jump through hoops, you have to earn your stripes too. And again, I'm calling bullshit. Dating is not a fucking war. I hate hearing that a woman had to claw and work her ass off just to be seen as worthy of her partner. I'm worthy of a partner today, as is. I have things I want to accomplish, but today I fucking deserve. Again, work on yourself. Yes. But you deserve love without having to do all this extra shit. The only person whose opinion matters is your partner's. And if they're your partner already, then they already accepted you as is. So who gives a fuck what the next girl gotta say? Who gives a fuck that a man I would never date has to say? The first thing we do when a woman says she's struggling with dating is tell her to lower her expectations. Never that. It's literally the first place people go to. What are you looking for? Like, why do you need to have a man who owns his own car? What's the big deal? You can't lower your standards just a little bit? Maybe you'll get what you want. Who the fuck are you to make me question what I want? I'm not lowering shit. I'm sorry, you had to settle for a 50K man, but I'm not going to do that. I'm happy you found happiness in a man that already has kids, but I don't want that. Sir, I get that you didn't finish college, but that's a you problem. It's not a me problem. I want easy. I want simple. I want to be cared for, cherished, unburdened. All the things I look for in men align with that. For example, I prefer a man who's a homeowner, but I don't go on and shit on men who rent. They could have value elsewhere. Like I said, I rent, so if a homeowner man don't like that, then no fucking well. The last few men I dated were homeowners. So if it's not an issue for the man that I am specifically dating, what is it to anybody else? I just don't understand why people think it's their place to tell somebody what they do deserve to be asking for. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out on this. First of all, I do not inherently disagree with what she's saying. I think the way that she said it could have been a little bit more tactful. And I also feel like the way she said it came off a little bit disparaging, but that's her and that's her platform. What I take issue with is this overhaul message keeps on getting repeated to women specifically about, again, what we need to be doing and how we need to be handling ourselves and all this and all that. These men be walking around looking like a fucking thumb, talking about they want a 10 for a wife and don't even have $10 in their savings. Come the fuck on. Like, why are we always telling women what they need to be doing? Who gets to tell a woman what she desires? The answer is nobody. Hello. Because I do not think people understand that it does feel targeted. In the dating arena, for those who are not single, you probably do not see this. But those of us who are seeking out, dating gurus and advice and all this stuff, there's this overall narrative that Black women in particular be asking for too much. We can't even require that a man be financially stable without being called a gold digger. I am not lowering my standards to make men I would never date feel better and to make women whose shoes I do not want to be in feel satisfied. I'm just not going to do it. Back to the B. Simone issue. I think what a lot of people's issues is that it's tone deaf what she said. It's not inherently that people disagree. And I was saying a lot of women, like I said, I don't inherently disagree with her. I don't think it's your place to tell people what they deserve to be asking for, but I don't inherently think she's wrong. But there is this overarching narrative that Black women in particular be asking for too much. And I specify Black women for a reason. Because a lot of these dating platforms are Black centered. We can't even require that a man be financially stable without being called a gold digger. I'm going to read y'all these two tweets. If you follow me on social media, you already saw it. It says, Black women went and worked on themselves to become equally yoked for the very things they wanted in men, only to be called independent with a bad attitude and unrealistic standards. Child, it's like, y'all really sit up here and say we're too strong, we're too educated, we're too masculine, we're too this, we're too that, we're too whatever. But then on the next side, it's like, you can't be asking for anything that's not what you already have. Like, I don't get it. Which one is it, y'all? Y'all tell us y'all got to work on yourselves and you can't ask for anything more. But then we work on ourselves and now we too much for you. It sounds like the problem is not us. Like I said, the superwoman bullshit been used against us. Like, we just supposed to take what we can get. And that seems to be the narrative that is often given out. And I just strongly advise and encourage Black women to befriend non-Black women. Not solely, just hear me out for a second. Find a friend who is not a Black woman and just pay attention to the cultural differences. Other communities do not argue like we do about who's paying for the dinner date. They don't sit up here and call women gold diggers for requesting a financially stable man. It is the fucking expectation that women of other cultures marry up. And I don't want to hear about, all the issues that we have as a community, school to prison pipeline, generational poverty, all this stuff. Like, that should make people even more want to step their game up. But instead, y'all sit up here and say, well, you're asking too much by asking for a man who makes six figures, even if she makes them her damn self. Other communities just don't have these problems. And it was really eye-opening for me. I had a Middle Eastern friend, And she was so upset and frustrated one day. She came to me because her parents hated her boyfriend. And I'm like, well, what's the big deal? Like, why don't they like him? It was because he was some sort of like IT nerd or whatever. And to her family, her Indian family, that was not a respectable job. She literally said verbatim, they said, why couldn't you get a doctor or a lawyer? And her boyfriend made well over six figures, but and I do think that her parents were absolutely tripping. But the point is that marrying and dating well is the standard for other women, which is why so many people have beef with Lori Harvey. It's there's just this thing about Black women and living luxury. This girl posted her Tesla on Twitter, and people are, where you get this Tesla from? How you get this Tesla? Blah, blah. People were like dragging her. And it's like, y'all don't want Black women to have shit. So yes, we are going to sit up here and have an attitude when B. Simone and every fucking body else always telling us what the fuck we're doing wrong. Like, it's always us. You have women like B. Simone and men like all these raggedy dating gurus telling Black audience that they don't deserve shit but crumbs and flaccid dick until they reach some made up level of arrival. Like, get the fuck out of here. What's happening in the dating industry is very weird, especially for a target audience for Black women. People are way too busy telling us to take what we can get, but then turning around and tell us that we're asking for too much. What the fuck is it? I'm tired. I started this conversation telling y'all I was tired. Okay. And then let's just deep dive into this. What are Black women not bringing to the table? We're educated. We tend to be, this is a fact, we tend to be the breadwinners. Black women tend to marry down. There is a book, I think it's Is Marriage for White People. Don't quote me on that, but there's a book about how Black women have a tendency to marry down. We're gorgeous to the point that people copy our swag, our hair, our body shapes, whatever. So what exactly is it that we're not doing? What exactly are we asking for that we have the inability to match or exceed? I found this other tweet that I thought was so good too. She said, so if Black women really did take B. Simone's advice and only dated our equals, who the fuck would Black women be dating? Because statistically, ... never mind. That's what the fuck I thought. Because I'm so confused. And I know that there were Black women, who, aren't, as educated and, don't have, the funds and that sort of thing. So I don't know. Maybe her audience was those women. But again, we are in an environment right now where Black women keep being told we're not good enough, or we're too good, or we're asking for too much, or we're not asking for enough. At the end of the day, Black women just shouldn't be listening to these messages anyway. Stop letting these idiots go viral. Stop giving it energy. It's low vibrational, and you guys deserve better than that. Like, I feel like a lot of these issues, like, just come down to people trying to humble us. And it's like, y'all just got a lot of nerve telling, we'll go back to women in general, what they do and don't deserve. And you know what's so funny? This woman tweeted, like, yeah, I agree with B. Simone. Here's a list of my requirements of things that I meet and exceed. And the men were upset as we follow these dating gurus. People who were not single, they may they may not see this, but when you follow the gurus and you follow, the people who are supposed to be empowering and uplifting you and giving you encouragement, and every time you turn around, it's always something we fucking doing wrong. It's like, damn, it's always our fault while we're single. Like, nobody considers a dating pool. Nobody considers that these idiots are sending lists and bullshit. You know what I mean? And for B. Simone to do that, it's like, really, girl, you too? So yes, I'm gonna focus on the Black thing because the Black thing matters. Like, this superwoman bullshit has been used against us time and time again. We're not asking for too much at all. It speaks to standards that some of these men can't meet, and it's a problem. Which is it, big homie? Because I am confusion. The type of man who hear these things and get upset are not the type that I would ever date. Why would I want to date a man who felt the need to humble me or to take me down a level, or you know what I mean, to like shrink me and what I value just for me to consider him an eligible partner, or for him to consider me an eligible partner? Why would I want that? Why would a man scoff at a woman wanting to be nurtured and supported, or wanting just the semblance of equality in a partner? Why? Women get into positions like Megan Good's character, and they just make costly missteps in dating, like having sex too early, giving up too much too soon, like access and time, just doing any and everything to get chosen by a man, like competing with other women, or just not valuing herself where she comes off a little bit desperate, or dating men like those who are not within her standards just to say she has someone. These men are feeling too empowered to say what we do and don't deserve just because they want access to us. If every woman put her foot down today and said, listen, if you don't have a degree and you don't make, we'll just say $50,000, you can't even be dealt with. If every woman said that today, you would see a lot of men getting their shit together. But no, they're going around saying, well, y'all need to ask for 1 second is y'all need to ask for, what you got. And then the next second is y'all asking for too goddamn much. Like, stop giving all that shit energy. She gave her rundown. She said the men had to make at least 75K. You had to have this, had to have that. And guys were pissed. So my whole thing is, wait the fuck a minute. Do y'all agree with what B. Simone said or not? Because as soon as a black woman said and gave her list, now it's, oh, she gonna be single forever. Why does his salary matter? I literally just said this. Which is it? Y'all agree with Simone in theory because it helps them get access to more women, but then a woman puts up a value that's too high for y'all. The weight of not feeling worthy of love is heavy. Like I said, we've been there, but we are not on that vibe anymore. There are too many people exploiting single women's fears of forever loneliness or never finding love. And we just have to take a stand against that, because news fucking flash. If ain't nobody told you, I told you today, women have the upper hand in dating, and everybody knows it. Call it the power to pee, whatever you want to call it. But women control a lot that happens in dating. And that is why some people are so hell-bent on changing the narrative and belittling women for simply asking for simple things, or try to make women feel less worthy and, feel insecure. And then there's other things like, society has indoctrinated us straight to the point of confusion. Like, women are less than because they're not spoken for by a man, but many women feel that way. We feel like sometimes we lack worth, and sometimes we do compete to get chosen. And then there's the whole sex positive thing, which absolutely is okay, but just be mindful of who is getting said sex. Like, the quest to get chose has some women accepting the bare minimum and giving away the goods for like basically no return of investment, or at least to a guy that's halfway decent. And then, I just feel like I've alluded to before, there's an entire dating industry just built on the fears of single women. There are too many people telling us to settle and stay in our lane. Stop letting them mind fuck your fears and scare you into submission. There are too many people benefiting from women not knowing their power and not understanding what they are worth. Love yourself. Become a better you for you. But you don't need to prove shit to nobody. Men asking you to measure up, what you bring to the table, sizing you up, that's nobody that's worth your time. And honestly, it's just not a surprise that broke men or cheap men or just misogynistic men agree with her, because they don't want to try. Like seriously, look at the men that are agreeing with her. Of course they want you not to ask for too much, because that means they gotta step their game up. So it is frustrating to see a woman do this. But then my thing is, where are the books and conferences geared towards men, telling them what they are not doing right? They are not being leaders. They are creating single mothers and broken homes. They are damaging women emotionally with zero regard. They are not in therapy. They are not doing what they need to be doing. Why is the onus always on what women need to be doing? Let people have their funky ass preferences like, oh boy. But stop telling us what we need to be doing and stop telling us that we're asking for too much. So what if a woman makes 60K and wants a six-figure man? What's it to you? She either gets it or she doesn't. Y'all don't say shit to these funky ass men with their fucking list. It just gives me stay in your lane vibes. But who decides that? How is it our place to tell someone what they should ask for? Why are y'all so busy trying to tell women to humble themselves? If you think you don't deserve certain shit because you aren't there in life yet, then say that. But I want it fucking all. I am moving in all walks of life with the confidence of a mediocre white man. And I am not waiting until every single thing on my agenda or bucket list is ticked off to say what I deserve. I deserve it, and so do you. So when you see these images and these stories and these narratives about dating pop up, ask yourself, what is the purpose here? Who benefits from this messaging? Is this messaging used to uplift and empower women, to educate them? Or is the goal to put them in their place and humble them and disparage them? Too many people depend on, hell, they count on your ignorance because that gets the men access to your time, your sexual attention, and then that gets these social media people access to your attention and your money and your consumership. Empowered and educated women in dating are trouble for a lot of men because empowered women know too fucking much. I've said this a few times. I wish I could go back to being that silly, naive ass girl that was just happy to be here, happy to have a boo. I used to have all the hoes, okay? My phone got so much drier when I just got some sense and I got some standards to me. Like, I made so many mistakes in dating and I gave it way too much of myself because I just didn't know better. I didn't love myself enough. I didn't understand my power. Now, I have a really quick turnaround because not only do I know what I want, but I know what I deserve. And I don't let myself get into that space of lack, and I don't let nobody else try to tell me what that means. And you deserve that too. You want that six-figure man? Good. You want that guy with 36 abs? Get that, sis. You want Drake? Cool. Actually, not Drake because that's mine. But do you, and can't nobody fucking tell you what you can and cannot ask for. Do not play small and question your own worth. And also, don't let other people try to make you feel small. You are lit and you deserve it all. Now it's time for the dating tip of the week. So, this whole episode has almost been like a great continuation of one big conversation. I'm not always this organized, but I kind of like the flow that this episode is taking. So I'm just gonna make the dating tip of the week similar to what Kelly said at the end, where she basically encouraged Megan Good's character, keep going and keep trying. Hey, it didn't work out with those last 3 guys, but keep it pushing. Like, log into those apps. Get the hell out there and date. I feel like a lot of us, us as me too, are making excuses. It's one thing to mend a broken heart or, you're going through a breakup or whatever, but just completely opting out of dating? I don't like that. So keep trying, keep dating, keep getting out there. This is what I'm here for. Date, 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 date. Now it's time for Down in the DMs. So down in the DMs, this is where you guys send me letters, questions, whatever the case may be. This is a DM that I got. I never have a name ready. Let's call him Joe. We did it, Joe. Let's call him Joe. It says, hey, I know that you cater more so to women, but do you have any advice for the single guys trying to find the right woman? I love this. And when the show first started, my analytics initially was like 98% women and now we're at 83% women. So I'm getting some more guy listeners, and I love that. So thank you, Joe, for the question. Guys, if you have questions, email me at listentoYourSingleFriend@gmail.com. So Joe, yes, I do cater to women. That is majority of my audience, but I acknowledge that I do have single male listeners. First of all, follow my accounts. It's some baddies, okay? Like, my Instagram has gorgeous women who are single. Like, so definitely follow the accounts. And just, I know people be sliding after some of my episodes. So, yes, follow the accounts. And, participate in some of the conversations that happen. And, kind of let it be known. But for single men trying to find the right woman, I really think that you need to be clear on what you want and also be open to what you want. There are a lot of single women out there. So it's like, what is it exactly that you're looking for? Have your list. Just don't send that list out to women. Don't be like the guy in the goofy section, but you should be having an idea. What does this woman look like? And then the next thing you should do is you should be mindful when you're interacting with like friends and family. Like, let them know that you're open and that you're looking. Like, I've been connected to men because someone that we knew, a mutual, knew that he was looking for somebody. And ultimately, it didn't work out, but that's okay because he had put it out there that he was looking for somebody, and our mutual said, hey, this has happened to me multiple times actually. Our mutual said, hey, I know someone who I think would be a good match for you. So put the feelers out there. And everybody knows single women and quality single women. I feel like we have the short end of the stick because not as many people know single guys, but or quality single guys. But I actually would be tempted to just tell you, hit me up and let me know if you would be down to like do it like, what do they call it? I've seen some Instagram pages do it where basically I would post your Instagram profile and just let the ladies, you answer some questions and I'll post up your picture and your profile and just let the ladies slide. I'm down to do that. As long as you pass the bare minimum and the basics. But I would be definitely down to present you to my audience. But yeah, I think that, there are women who are looking. There are plenty of women who are looking. There are plenty of people dating on the apps right now. Be mindful of the people that's already like in your audience too. Like, who are you already following on Instagram? There may be women that you're following that you think are attractive and, you might have things in common with them. So take a look, watch Insta stories and engage with people on Insta stories. I swear, man or woman, Insta stories is the best way to slide. Okay. It is the best freaking way to slide. When you're on the dating apps, make sure you're being conversational. Like, this is something that women complain about a lot is like, we'll start a conversation or be in a conversation with a guy and then it goes nowhere. Be creative in how you're engaging women because sometimes we may really like a guy, think he's attractive, but it's like, we ain't talking about nothing. You know what I mean? But the right woman is absolutely out there. You need to specify what that is, again, in your brain or even write it down, but do not send this list. Put the feelers out there. Let your immediate community know you're looking. Be mindful on the dating apps of how you're engaging people. And then also be mindful of like your social medias. What kind of messages are you putting out there? Are you connected and are you engaging with people? So best of luck. Let me know if you want me to post you up on the gram because I will do it. But yeah, thank you so much, Joe, for sending in this question. It's time for trivia. I want a trivia song. I need someone to give me a trivia song. This is your trivia. Blank percent of men say that they will purchase a Valentine's Day gift for more than one romantic partner, compared to only 6.36 of women. I'm being messy this week, y'all. So what percent of men said they were going to purchase a Valentine's Day gift for more than one romantic partner compared to only 6.3% of women? Is it A, 20% of men, B, 35% of men, C, 42% of men, or D, 3% of men? You'll have to find out on next week's episode. we're going to go ahead and close out the show now, guys. Thank you so much for rocking with me today. I just had some shit I needed to get off my chest, honestly. I'm just irritated, and, I just wanted to offer some encouragement and some education and some words of advice. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please continue to run up my ratings and my reviews. Some of y'all been saying y'all gonna do some reviews, so please give me some reviews. Hey, and shout me out on socials as you're listening to the episode. Like, screenshot whatever you're listening on and just say, how much you love the show, or even if you hate what I said, just be like, oh my god, but screenshot it, share it to your social media, put it on your Insta story. That is definitely the way to get the word out. If you could just text 2 or 3 people, they don't even have to be single, and just say, oh my god, you should check out this show. Because I do have non-single people who listen. Hell, I got married people that reach out to me about this show. So please, 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 that is going to be my call to action, is share the show on social media as you're listening, and text 2 or 3 friends and just tell them that they should listen. Something I want to do really quick is I do want to start doing bonus episodes where, like, I review, like, a movie or a series. Like, I took a little bit of a different angle with this episode because I wanted to, talk about some specific things with that movie, but I didn't really get into the details or give away the movie main plot or what ended up happening. But I would love to, review stuff like The Bachelor or Love Island or stuff about dating or the single life. So let me know if y'all be down to listen. I might do it anyway just because I think it's fun. But yeah, that's something that I'm thinking about. So either way, run up my ratings, run up my reviews, subscribe, share the show. Thank you guys. Next week we're going to be having a special guest, if all goes well. So I'm super excited about next week's episode. But yeah, I will talk to you guys next time.